Guzambo. This is Bhutan Last Week. First, the headlines of the week. Bhutan sees relaxations in COVID lockdowns and most celebrated with masks off. Bhutan requested the Indian government for 1 million doses of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines. A Korean artificial sun sustains 100 million degrees heat in a controlled environment, and its unlikely effect on Bhutan. A Bhutanese youth makes time in lockdown to build a drone. In world news, Donald Trump facing severe backlash after Capitol riots. This week, it's a tale of two journalists from India. In science news, a detailed featurette about vaccines. And our Peak of the Week segment at the end. Now, the news in detail. With no traces of community transmission in 18 Dzongkhoks, the lockdown was lifted with life returning to normalcy in the districts. North Thimphu, with no cases from 5,500 plus tests done on 16th, the super zone was unlocked for the public to walk and cycle without the requirement of cards from 5 am till 5 pm. And to the wit of many, I personally have seen people walking past the road in twos and not wearing masks. It seems we have, after about a month of being locked in, not understood a thing about COVID transmission and protocols. Well, this may be the same people who say the government has deliberately infected the public, only if we could check their brains, if they have any. But good news coming in the COVID front, with the Bhutan government requesting the Indian counterpart for 1 million doses of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines, which probably would be in the rebranded form of Covishield produced by Serum Institute of India, the world's largest producer of vaccines by volume. India started the world's largest inoculation drive on 16th, with about 2 lakh people being vaccinated on the first day. This has, however, been marred by worry of the other vaccine that has been approved for emergency use, Covaxin. Covaxin has not cleared its phase 3 trials and experts are in a worry. More on this in the vaccine featurette later on the show. In a big win for a cleaner, safer energy, a Korean company, K-Star, Korea's superconducting tokamak advanced research, set a world record for sustained temperatures of 100 million degrees for 20 seconds. This could be not a great news for Bhutanese economy in the long run. For more information, our correspondent Mr. K has the details. K-Star has recently managed to sustain a temperature of 100 million degrees for a record 20 seconds, inching closer to clean and unlimited energy for the world. To understand this, we'll have to understand the workings of nuclear fission and the sun. The world currently mostly runs on fossil fuels, contributing to more than 80% of the energy consumed. Nuclear energy runs at a low 4% of the total, just below hydropower at 6%. Many countries are turning to nuclear energy due to adverse effects of fossil fuels and also the fear of it running out. The nuclear power, however, has many problems on its own. Its raw material, uranium, will also deplete one day. But more concern are the catastrophes that has unfolded in Chernobyl and Fukushima, where hundreds died in the accidents due to direct radiation and thousands affected in the long run. The current nuclear reactors are fission type, meaning the uranium is split into smaller atoms and in the process of which energy is released. This also produces hazardous radioactive byproducts which need to be buried hundreds of meters underground for hundreds of years. The other nuclear solution is nuclear fusion, as it happens in the sun's core from where we get the heat to sustain life on Earth. 2 hydrogen atoms fuse together to form a helium atom and it releases enormous amount of energy. But there is a difficulty because to recreate this on Earth, we need a heat of more than 100 million degrees for the hydrogen atoms to fuse together. And that's why the achievement of K-Star is so important. A fusion reaction is better because we have unlimited hydrogen on Earth, which will never run out. The byproduct, helium, is a non-hazardous inert gas. A win-win situation, but this may take at least a few decades more. So now, how will this affect Bhutan? This is in a long run. Once this technology arrives, all the countries in the world will start getting energy from this. Bhutan sustains its economy with 26% of its earning from hydropower export to India. There was a gain of 31% hydropower export in 2020, then in 2019. Once this export stops, we are left with just tourism, which also seems to be in a puddle with the experience of this pandemic. But global warming may strike earlier and our rivers may dry up before that, so fingers crossed. Well, that was not so hopeful, was it? We hope Bhutan ventures into a more sustaining economic development. And fortunately for us, the youth have been very active during the lockdown, setting creative ventures. We meet Sangye, a returnee from Malaysia who has built a homegrown drone. Yes, you heard that right, a drone. Sangye Doji, 23 years of age, returned from Malaysia in August 2020 and to his dismay has been mostly locked down due to the pandemic. However, he did much better than all of us as he made a drone in his home during the lockdown. In his conversation with the BBS, he informed how difficult it is to obtain components for the drone. And for now, he assembles and deassembles the same drone with newer configurations. We at the studio wish him the best of luck in all his endeavors. However, even after his building or you buying a drone, it's difficult for anyone to fly drones in Bhutan. This is because you need to get license and a documentary evidence, as is suggested by this notification by BCAA Bhutan. About 20 people, mostly in creative business, notably Srindanka of Denka's Getaway, Bhutan's first solo blogger and might I say the best, have also been penalized for the offense. We hope some changes are made in this matter. We hope more news of such innovations keep coming up and continue to encourage the public. Moving on now to the world news. We reported last week about the capital riots in USA, but further investigations have seen the threat was more severe than assumed earlier. The federal investigations have unearthed evidence that suggested many of the cabinet members and police officers of the Capitol building were in cahoots with the rioters. Video clips have also showed for certainty that various militia groups had come to survey the building earlier and was ready for an armed assault, probably leading to kidnap or worse, assassinations of the cabinet members. There was a chant during the riot about killing the vice president, a member of the Trump's own administration. Even with these serious threats and a direct threat to the cabinet members who were in the building during the riot, the Republican Party, the party which nominated Trump, majorly disregarded any steps taken to remove Trump from office, which is important as the President of the United States has a nuclear button in their hand. Someone asked our news studio whether we Bhutanese think that this will ever happen in the country, and our producer gladly answered, "We Bhutanese are not stupid. Accurately, we are not Americans." That's what he said, and our studio is proud of our producer's comment and we stand by it. Coming closer to home, two journalists of India made big news this week. First, Nidhi, previously of NDTV, informed in her tweet that she was scammed. Earlier last year, she resigned from NDTV to pursue teaching as an associate professor in Harvard, but she has now come to know it was a phishing scam and she has not given any more details. The social media has flooded how a renowned journalist was being careless, but most have been pointing out that this is not as simple as can be seen. We will be reporting on this as the newer development comes. Another news is of Mr. Arnab Goswami, who had some damning chats leaked pointing conclusively towards his role in the TRP scam. This is however not confirmed by any credible sources, nor has any major media reported on it. Our Indian correspondent Mr. I will have the details in next week's episode. We have now come to the main featurette of this week's episode. Today it's all about vaccines. Recently news has been spreading about deaths of many people after getting the COVID vaccine, especially the Pfizer one. For in-depth analysis of this and how vaccines are tested, this is the Know Something segment presented by our in-house science expert, Mr. S. Hello and welcome to Know Something. This week we'll be discussing in depth about vaccines. By the end of this video, you should be able to differentiate between fake news and real ones and be more confident in vaccines. This segment will be of three parts. First, how the vaccine is tested and authorized for public use. Second, discuss about the news of death in people after they got COVID vaccines. And finally, a news of a single dose vaccine. Firstly, I hope you know how vaccines work. If you do not to worry, I have made a video about the workings of vaccines and it's up in both my YouTube and Facebook pages. Go check that out. Moving on to how vaccines are made ready for public usage, this consists of two main stages. First, making the vaccine, and second and more importantly, the testing, known as clinical trials. I want to focus on the clinical trials. Once a vaccine is made ready in a lab, it has to undergo 4 phases for it to be authorized for mass public inoculation. In phase 1, a small number of people, usually about 100, is subject to the vaccine in very small doses to check how harmful it is and if vaccines really work. In phase 2, several hundred or thousand participants are subjected to various doses and are checked for months to see adverse side effects. The highest dose that can be given is also checked. In phase 3, a higher number of people are tested on, sometimes more than 20,000. And in this, a placebo is used. A placebo is something that looks like a vaccine but has no medicinal value. A saline or salt water is used. Now, thousands of people are injected, some with vaccine, some with a placebo. Even the doctors do not know which, and is coded for future results. This removes any bias from both sides. This is the most important trial, and it solidifies the vaccine's efficacy. Only after these 3 trials and its results are the vaccine authorized. This is also considered sometimes as phase 4. Now, Covaxin, the other vaccine produced in India, has not yet released its phase 3 trial data, and hence experts are worried for this. This may work, but its side effects are of concern. A medicine also passes the same clinical trials, and it works. You should go to a hospital first when you're sick, and later consult a shaman if you like. Okay, now the deaths due to COVID vaccine. Norway reported 23 deaths of the elderly in nursing homes after they were inoculated with the COVID vaccine. This is, however, not very clear. Though the Norwegian Medicines Agency has made a written statement in that website that the common reactions to vaccine like fever may have caused the death of their frail citizens, and they were mostly above 85 years of age. Norway reports death of 400 people each week from their nursing homes due to common illness, so it is not conclusive to say it was caused by COVID vaccines. But you know what should help you feel confident? Almost 40 million people have been vaccinated as of today, and there are no notable cases of any death due to the vaccines. Watch out for sensational news, they're mostly fake. And finally, a better news. Johnson & Johnson, yes, the baby products one, their vaccine can be stored at normal room temperature and is only a single dose vaccine, unlike all the other vaccines currently, which requires a double dose. This vaccine is currently in its trials, but has shown good efficacy so far. Well, I hope this has made you a little clearer about vaccines and less fearful. Stay clean and far away from each other. Bye. We hope you have now got a fair idea about the vaccines. Now to our last segment, the pick of the week. Our first pick of the week is a YouTube channel, Norling Drayang Productions. The best thing about the channel is they have recently started to digitalize old concerts and have uploaded on their channel. The oldest one is a clock tower show of 2002. I vividly remember this show because I was in the crowd, and that was the first time I heard Chaya Hai Dil Pe, a great song. But the best part in the channel is the performance of Tsering Jurme, looking very handsome in a white shirt and grunge hair. And yes, he has 2 dancers at his side with neo shades. Make sure you visit the channel and see for yourself how good the music used to be even in 2002. And yes, there's Deshinpem singing a Bengali song. Our song of the week is Acho Daka by the Upsurge. Acho Daka is the anthropomorphic name of the moon in Bhutanese fables. Anthropomorphism is the attribution of human characteristics or behavior to a god, animal or object. Songs by Upsurge have good lyrics, and this song has great vocals, tunes, music and a theme. And as a bonus to you, we will share a link to a YouTube video which is a live action story of Acho Daka fable as told by grandparents. That's it for today. More news next week. Thank you for your continued support. Subscribe, like and share. We'll end with a few seconds of the song. Goodbye.